everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing my labor and delivery story, and there's many parts, and if I leave out anything, I'm sorry. You can leave questions below if you have any questions, and I can make a separate video on that, but let's just get right into it. And if you hear Isabel in the background, that's because she is right next to me playing with all the stuff I just put away on the changing table. Alright, so I'm going to start out with the day I had my doctor's appointment, which was November 15th, and I went to the doctor's appointment and I asked him hey, was I leaking or anything, because I thought I was leaking my water, and he said no, I wasn't. So he went ahead and checked me and was seeing if I was dilated any, and I'm pretty sure I was only at 1 centimeter and 50% effaced, or somewhere around there, 60. I think it was 50%. So I went out on the 15th. I was due on the 20th, but we went ahead and talked about, getting induced because I was so close to my due date, and I was like, that's fine, because I honestly didn't want to have a Thanksgiving baby, and her due date was on her dad's birthday, and I kind of wanted, it'd be cool for her to be born on her dad's birthday, but I kind of wanted her to have her own birthday and also him to have his own birthday. We set up the inducement date, and we left. I was going to have a baby the next day on the 16th. That was the day I was supposed to be induced, the 16th. So we left, and we met up with my aunt and my mom, me and my mom and my aunt. We all went to Toys R Us, and we decided, let's do some shopping, walk around, do some last minute stuff before I have a freaking baby. What the heck? So we went to Toys R Us, and then I can't remember if we did anything else, but we went back home. When I got home, my dad texted me and was like, hey, do you want to go have dinner, because I think at this point it's our last dinner without a baby, all this stuff. So he's like, hey, do you want to go ahead and get dinner tonight? We're going to have Chinese if you want to go. I was like, yeah, why not? So I decided hey, let's go eat some Chinese because tomorrow I'm having a baby. And so I went to Chinese with my dad, my grandma, my sister, and it was me. And so I went to Chinese and ate, and then I had to go to the bathroom after I had so many drinks there because I was so thirsty. No, baby, you can't touch the camera. Sorry, she was touching the camera. Don't know where it was at. Anyway, so I had a lot to drink, and then I went ahead and and was like, alright guys, I'm gonna go to the bathroom before we head out. So I went to the bathroom, and TMI, I kind of thought my discharge was a lot more watery. She keeps moving my camera while I'm telling the story about how you came into the world. Okay, now that I've distracted her. So we went ahead and we went to, I went to the restroom, and then I thought my discharge was a little watery, like I said, and so I was like, no, there's no way. He already told me I'm not leaking, my water's not leaking, I'm good, whatever. So I went out and I was like, hey Dad, I think, I should just go home, because I was kind of thinking it was leaking, but I was questioning myself because the doctor had just told me it wasn't. And then we get ready, we go home, and then I get home, and, TMI, I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and then I stood up, and it was water just started leaking, and it wasn't, it was a gush, but it wasn't huge like you see in movies, or they make it seem like it's gushed out when you see on TV. It wasn't like that, but there was a good amount of water, and I was like, what the heck? So I yelled for my mom. I was like, Mom, and then so I was like, I think my water broke. So we called the hospital. So the hospital said, go ahead, come in and let's check your water. And in that time before I got to the hospital, I I wasn't feeling any pain, nothing. So I went ahead and I showered, but I knew it was my water because in that time after the gush of water came out, my water, which broke, after that I could kind of clench my stomach a little bit or whatever, and more water would come out. I don't know how to explain what I was doing, but that's how I knew it was my water for sure. So I already had my hospital bag packed, everything, because the next day I was about to give birth anyways. So I went to the hospital. My mom drove me, and we had the heated seats on, so I couldn't feel much at all. And then we got there, they checked me in, and they took me back to this room where they did a test to see if it was my water or not. And of course, they did the test, and she's like, yeah, you can't get any more positive than this, so you're in labor. I was like, okay, great. So they went ahead and had me like take off my clothes, put on a robe and stuff, checked me in, did some blood work. She checked me like to see how far I was dilated. And I'm telling you, this girl had some small hands. It hurt. She was the nicest nurse ever. Like, this nurse was the bomb. She was so nice, but her hands were little and it kind of hurt a lot. I tried not to cry, but like you could see some tears. My mom knew. She's like, she's trying to tough it out, you know, because this is nothing compared to what it's about to be. Took me to my room where I was gonna have this baby, and I was, you know, starting to have contractions and feeling a little bit more, and then we had called and told everyone like, hey, I'm in labor, you know, Rayan's about to have this baby, pop this sucker out. My aunts came and visited because at this point it was like 9 or 10 p.m. and I had already been in labor for a few hours, and so I was having contractions, and so my aunt was like helping me feel better, doing this little massage thing on the lower part of my back, and then I got on the ball. I was like rocking back and forth. At this point I was maybe 3 centimeters dilated, and then by then, you know, I wasn't progressing a lot at all. Like, it was going by so slow. So I think around 3 centimeters because I wasn't progressing. I'm pretty sure they gave me my epidural. I was in a lot of pain and my contractions weren't doing it right. Well, first they gave me the pain medicine that they give you, and I'm telling you, I think that felt way better, like relaxing wise, than the epidural for me. But obviously they can only give you so much every so many hours, and so they gave me that and it wore off, and I kind of took a little cat nap. I didn't even like take a cat nap. I closed my eyes, and then like not even long after I was back to being in pain. So then they gave me my epidural, and when they did it, obviously I was having this contraction, and I sat still, didn't move, nothing. They did it, and you know, laid down. To describe it, was half my body wasn't numb and the other half was like super numb the way it's supposed to be. So they would flip me side to side, and it would be like, it'd just be like one side of me is numb and the other side of me wasn't. So that stunk, and I could still feel the contractions quite a bit. So they had a removable catheter, and then they would do that for me, and they could only do it every 2 hours because of the risk of infection. When you have an epidural, you're not supposed to be able to pee, and I was like able to pee everything. That's not supposed to happen, and I think my body, the way my body is I run off pain medicine so fast. So when they kept checking me, then I got to about 5 centimeters and 80% effaced, and that's when I stopped, because they had to give me Pitocin because my contractions were like very irregular and they weren't that good. They weren't looking the best. Like, I was having them, but they were like very inconsistent, very irregular, but I was obviously in labor. So then they took the monitor off my belly and put a monitor in on her head. So she had a monitor, I had a monitor in me at all times, so that they could get a better track of the contractions. So then I'm pretty sure they had me on Pitocin, and then they took me off of it, and they restarted from the very beginning because it was just like nothing was working. You know, I got to 5 centimeters, 80% effaced. The doctor came in, checked me. I'm telling you, I was crying so bad. I was shaking. Like, it was really bad. Zach was holding my hand, and my mom was on the same side as me, like holding my leg. And the nurse was, her name, well, I'm not gonna say her name, but she was like the best nurse ever. And she was holding my hand, and then the doctor was checking me. I was bawling my eyes out. It hurt so bad. And then, mind you, I had the epidural at this point too, so I shouldn't have even been able to feel this. Like, I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure though. Then he's like, okay, so you're not progressing any, and it's already, and this was like the next night, like after I'd went in. This was a whole nother day, like the evening, and he's like, this was like 8 o'clock, so it's been 24 hours since my water broke. Well, he said, when I come back, if you haven't progressed any, then, you know, we're going to have to talk about a C-section. You're going to have an emergency C-section because you're not progressing, and that baby needs to get out because it's been over 24 hours. It was like an hour and a half goes by. He comes back in, he checks me, and he tells me, okay, you haven't progressed any, we're going to have to do a C-section. He said, that I was going to have a C-section, and I just started bawling my eyes out. I was so scared. I was so, like, Zach was upset. Everyone was upset. My mom started crying. The doctor's like, Ryan, you have to be serious. Like, right now, you can't be crying. You got to listen to me. I got to let you know what's going on. He needed me to be calm so I could understand everything that he was saying. So he told me I'm going in for C-section. They get the little hair thing on me. They get me all prepped, all ready for this. They get Zach prepped and ready. Everyone leaves the room, and then they take me back to get the C-section. And I was so scared, guys. I was like shaking like this, and they put you on this tiny little table. So then I'm on this tiny little table shaking, and they give me the medicine. I don't know if they gave me more or what happened, because it's all kind of a blur. I just remember going in this room. It was freezing cold too. They like got all the stuff on me and like got me all prepped and ready to go. And then he's like poking my belly like this. He's like, "Can you feel that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit, yeah." He wasn't poking my belly, he was slicing me open. Zach was taking a video, and in the video I was crying. I said, "I'm tired, I just want to go to bed, I just want to go to bed." I was so scared, guys, and he was cutting me open, and I was like, in the video you can't hear this, but I told the guy, because he's like, "Can you feel it?" And I told him, yeah, and then like, I think knowing that he was slicing me open made me more panicky. I was freaking out, and then I was like trying to calm myself so that my arms weren't shaking. After they got her out of me and made sure she was okay and that I was, okay, after they had taken her out and stuff, they went ahead and gave me medicine, and it knocked me completely out. I was knocked out in 2 seconds. It just felt like, coldness going in my arm, and I was out. I woke up and I was just like staring at the top. It was like in the movies when above you is like all white when they wake up in like the movies when they wake up and it's all white. That's what it was like to me. You have to be in there after your C-section for like recovery time, like 45 minutes I think, after to an hour. Then you get to go back to your room. And I went back to my room. We were in the room, and then everyone's like, "What's her name? What's her name?" And I said Isabel, obviously, and everyone was so happy because they didn't like the other name I had picked out, which you can check out in my last video. They started helping me with breastfeeding her. They showed me what to do. I just got to hang out with her, and it stunk. It sucked because I couldn't get up for a while because of the C-section. It was a lot harder to get up. It hurt. Like, it was kind of painful. They just pushed on your stomach a little bit. You had medicine. They helped you go to the bathroom if you needed to go to the bathroom. They did a lot. They were very helpful and very nice to me. I think I covered all of the basis of what happened. Basically, I had an emergency C-section, and I was very tiny, couldn't deliver her. She wanted to come out, so she had a very big egghead, that's for sure. That is it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. You should give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And leave a comment if you have any questions on what you would like me to cover. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!